This is Radio Romania International. You're listening to our one-hour broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and Japan. We can also be heard on the internet at www.rri.ro Channel 1. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter and other social media platforms. Our programs are also available on TuneIn and via satellite Eutelsat 16A on 11,512 megahertz vertical polarization, azimuth 16 degrees east. Symbol rate 29,950 mega symbols per second, standard DVB-S2, modulation 8 PSK, audio PID 510. We wish you good reception conditions.
Hello, I'm your host Elena Yanake, bringing you the news. First, the headlines. Acting President Klaus Johannes will face former Social Democrat Prime Minister Viorica Dăncilă in the second round of the presidential election on November 24. Romania's trade deficit exceeded 12 billion euros in the first 9 months of the year, and ceremonies were held on Monday across the country to mark various military events. The European Union Foreign Affairs Council on Monday convened in Brussels to discuss the Council's response to the crisis in Venezuela, Turkey's illegal drilling activities in the Eastern Mediterranean, and the developments in Syria. The EU foreign ministers agreed to impose economic sanctions over Turkey's drilling off the coast of Cyprus, setting up the legal framework for travel bans and asset freezes. The decision is aimed to punish Ankara for violating Cyprus's maritime economic zone by drilling off the divided island. Turkey, which is a former candidate to join the EU, says it is operating in waters on its own continental shelf or areas where Turkish Cypriots have rights. According to EU ministers, the decision also provides for sanctioning individuals or entities responsible for or involved in unauthorized drilling activities of hydrocarbons in the Eastern Mediterranean. Acting President Klaus Johannes, supported by the National Liberal Party, will face former Social Democrat Prime Minister Viorica Dăncilă in the runoff for the presidential election scheduled for November 24. According to data released by the Central Election Bureau, after counting 96% of the votes, Klaus Johannes ranked 36.91% of the votes, followed by Viorica Dăncilă with 23.45%, the leader of Save Romania Union, Dan Barna, with 14.19% of the vote. The scores of the other 11 candidates range between 0.1% and 9%. The voter turnout at national level was 47.66%. In the diaspora, where the vote started on Friday and lasted until Sunday evening, a record high of 675,000 people cast their votes. Romania's trade deficit exceeded 12 billion euros in the first 9 months of the year, up by 2.1 billion as compared to the same period last year, the National Statistics Institute reports. According to the latest data, exports accounted for 51.8 billion euros in the first 9 months of the year, a 2% increase compared to 2018, while imports stood at 63.8 billion euros, up by 5.1% compared to the same period of last year. Over January 1st and September 30, cars, transport equipment and other manufactured goods accounted for a great share of total exports and imports. The Day of Veterans and Fallen Heroes, known internationally as Remembrance Day, was marked on Monday in military ceremonies held in Bucharest and garrisons across the country. Similar events were staged at the tombs and monuments devoted to Romanian soldiers. Remembrance Day is celebrated internationally on November 11, marking the armistice signed by Germany and the Entente in 1918, marking the end of the Great War. Also on this day in 2003, Iosif Silviu Fogoraș died in Afghanistan, the first Romanian soldier KIA in theaters of operations. In 2014, on November 11, was declared Veterans Day in Romania in recognition of the merit of all military personnel who took part in military actions. The King Ferdinand frigate is taking part in a multinational anti-submarine military exercise hosted by the Turkish naval forces in the Mediterranean Sea until November 20, the Naval Forces General Staff reports. The King Ferdinand crew will take part in specific training exercises in Turkish territorial waters and nearby international waters alongside military from Bulgaria, Canada, Greece, Jordan, Italy, Mexico, Pakistan, Spain, the United States of America, and Turkey. According to the Romanian Naval Forces, the participation of King Ferdinand helps boost interoperability between Romania and partner states and fosters the Romanian Army's professionalism at global level. And that was the news coming to you from Bucharest, Radio Romania International. The incumbent President Klaus Iohannis has won the first round of the presidential elections and will face the Social Democrats leader Viorica Dăncilă in the decisive round. I'm Cristina Mateescu with this report by Ștefan Stoica. There were no surprises in the first round of the presidential elections in Romania. So the candidate of the Liberal Right and incumbent President Klaus Iohannis will be facing the leader of the Social Democratic Party, Viorica Dăncilă, in the second round on the 24th of November. A surprise would have been if the candidate of the USR Plus Alliance, Dan Barna, had made it to the second round. Barna finished, however, in the third place, with a far worse score than that obtained by the Alliance at the latest European elections. Klaus Iohannis and the Liberal Party celebrated the victory, hoping they will do it again in 2 weeks' time. Iohannis, who blames the Social Democrats for damaging reforms in the area of the judiciary and the economy, has warned that the victory is not in the bag yet and has called on people to go out and vote.
Dragii mei, războiul cu PSD nu s-a încheiat.
The war with the Social Democratic Party is not over yet. There's one battle still left, one more step to overcome in 2 weeks' time. I say to those who took to the streets as I did to defend the rule of law to come out and vote in the second round, so that our struggle was not in vain. I say to those who run hospitals, schools and motorways to come out and vote so as to forever remove the Social Democratic Party from power and do all these things together. To those who don't want their children and grandchildren to leave the country, I say come out and vote, because now we can change things. And to those many voters in the diaspora, I say come out and vote, because now you can make the difference. The leader of the Social Democratic Party says she is not fighting against the party, but for the unity and dignity of Romanians, and that she believes she can win. Mulțumesc tuturor celor care au votat cu inima. I would like to thank all those who voted with their hearts. The vote given today shows your trust. The vote given today helps us to continue the election campaign, a campaign in which we will come before the Romanian people, both with what we have accomplished and especially with what we want to do for them when we win the presidential elections. Our fight is not against a particular political party. We don't want to eliminate a political party, because we live in a democracy, and each political party must be able to express its point of view. Our fight will be, as has been so far, for the Romanian people, for Romania, for equilibrium and consensus, for unity and for representing Romania with dignity, both at home and abroad.
Plan intern, ca și în plan extern.
Sociologists say that the electorate who voted for Klaus Johannes is in the middle between Dan Barna's voters, mainly young people with medium and high education and employment, and those who voted for Viorica Dăncilă, namely elderly pensioners with basic and medium education. Thus, half of Johannes's voters are between 35 and 64, with medium education and in employment. Voter turnout was below 48%, the lowest in the presidential elections in Romania. The Romanian citizens living abroad, however, have turned up in record numbers, reaching 675,000, adding to the 25,000 who voted by post, a first in these elections. They were able to cast their votes over 3 days to prevent the long queues seen in previous elections. Klaus Johannes has won the vote abroad with more than 50%, followed by Dan Barna, while Viorica Dăncilă only came in fifth with around 3%.
The first round of the recently held presidential election in Romania did not go unnoticed for foreign publications. With a report by Daniela Budum. The international press has covered the result of the first ballot of presidential election in Romania. According to Euronews, if incumbent Klaus Johannes wins a second term in office, if re-elected, he'll have the chance to install chief prosecutors who say they are committed to tackling endemic corruption, backed by the liberal minority government of Prime Minister Ludovic Orban, an ally who won a parliamentary vote of confidence this month. Also according to Euronews, observers said a win for Johannes might bolster the Liberal Party's chance of forming a coalition government after a general election due in 2020 and restore investor confidence eroded by several years of political instability and fiscal largesse. According to the Italian page of the aforementioned publication, the re-election of Johannes could put an end to the institutional conflict between the presidency and the Social Democrat governments. It has been a running thread for Romanian politics in recent years. In the same vein, Reuters, British news agency, has headlined that if Johannes is re-elected, that is meant to restore the investors' confidence for many years eroded by political instability and fiscal lassitude. In turn, the New York Times writes that the win of Romania's centrist president Klaus Johannes, on whom the West heaped praise for his anti-graft stance, could bolster the investors' confidence in the wake of many years of political and fiscal instability. The French publication Le Figaro has written that this past Sunday's presidential election strengthens Romania's pro-European commitment. Associated Press news agency has headlined, Romania has held presidential election, pro-EU candidate is favorite. Associated Press took up on the analysis provided by the Romanian analyst Andrei Țăranu, stating, polarization caused by the political crisis worked well for the first two presidential hopefuls. That kept Klaus Johannes and Viorica Dăncilă in the spotlight, whereas other candidates hardly stood any chance to secure their affirmation on the political stage. And that was Radio Newsreel.
Dear friends, Radio Romania International continues its traditional polling of listeners on shortwave, the internet and social media with a new challenge that we hope you will find interesting. We would like to ask you which person you think left their imprint on the world in a positive way in 2019. We are preparing to designate, based on your options, the personality of the year 2019 on Radio Romania International. Will this person be a politician, an opinion leader, a businessman, an athlete, an artist, a scientist, or even a regular person with a special story? It's up to you. We would also want to ask you why you picked that particular person. You can send your answers, as usual, by commenting on our website at rri.ro, by email at engl@rri.ro, On our Facebook, Google+, Twitter and LinkedIn profiles, on WhatsApp at 004074431260, by fax at 004021319056 or by post at 6064 General Berthelot Street, Sector 1, Bucharest, area code 010165, PO Box 111, Romania. We recall that the personality of the year 2018 on Radio Romania was the German Chancellor Angela Merkel. The personality of the year 2017 on Radio Romania International was the Romanian tennis player Simona Halep, former number one in the WTA rankings. And the personality of the year 2016 on Radio Romania International was the American President Donald Trump. The personality of the year 2019 on Radio Romania International will be announced on January the 1st, 2020.
International. Focus on Romania. The History Show.
Welcome to the History Show. I'm Ana Maria Popescu. On November the 1st, 1928, Radio Romania started emitting in Bucharest, growing into the voice of the times, of the ideas and aspirations of Romanians, which shaped the contents of the institution's broadcasts. Ever since, the development of the public broadcaster has mirrored all the transformations experienced by the Romanian society as a whole and reflected the major landmarks of the history of the 20th century. On August the 23rd, 1944, Romania joined the Alliance of the United Nations, a move which was to shorten the Second World War and limit the human and material losses it caused. Taking part in the council convened by King Michael I that night was, among others, the head of Radio Romania, Vasile Ionescu.
În cabinetul suveran, la ora 18, din ziua de 20...
In the office of the Sovereign of Romania, starting at 6 p.m. on August the 23rd, 1944, for 4 hours until 10:05, I took part in all the preparations and formalities required in order to consolidate the coup that had started with arresting Marshal Antonescu and his main collaborators, namely Professor Mihai Antonescu, the Vice President of the Council of Ministers, and also Foreign Minister and Propaganda Minister, Constantin Pantazi, War Minister, General Peche Vasiliu, Chief Inspector of the Gendarme Corps and Secretary of State with the Interior Ministry, and Professor Gheorghe Alexianu, the former Governor of Transnistria.
Această arestare deja între orele 15 și 16.
24 years later, in 1968, troops from the Warsaw Pact countries, except for Romania, invaded Czechoslovakia in order to end Alexander Dubček's reformist policy. Engineer Ilie Dragan of the Radio Romania team in charge of the live broadcasting of Nicolae Ceausescu's speech condemning the armed intervention remembers. In 1968, we were called at home and asked to come to work 1 hour earlier. They told us we had to do an emergency transmission from a rally to be held in Republica Square. I went there immediately with a team of technicians. I remember we had an outside broadcasting van where we improvised a seat for Yanka up on the vehicle. Problems installing everything because lots of people had started to gather in the square. I remember we had to move the car somewhere in a corner of the square near a window on a patch of grass. Together with a team from the National Telecoms Company, we managed to put up the circuits, and 15 minutes before the event started, we were live with the radio studio. In turn, Radio Romania International covered the milestones of world history in spite of political barriers. Landing on the moon was one such moment, and Sergiu Lavescu, a journalist with the French service of Radio Romania International, remembers very well July the 20th, 1969, the day when the Apollo 11 crew set foot on the moon.
Moment, ca să zic așa, care de fapt a fost o ședință nepolitizat.
The landing on the moon was the topic of a non-politicized meeting of Radio Romania International producers. When Armstrong left the lunar module to explore the moon's surface, we all got together in the office of Bucuresti Romania, then editor-in-chief, to listen to the radio program. It was a really emotional moment.
Atunci, într-adevăr, s-a spus manifestarea de transportare rămășitor.
In a broadcast from the Olympic Games in Rome in 1960, radio journalist Ion Ghițulescu was reporting on the moment when Iolanda Balas became an Olympic champion. The Olympic Stadium is silent again. Yolanda Balas is getting ready for her third 1.85-meter high jump. She heads towards the horizontal bar, gets ready, and jumps. We will witness the award ceremony in the high jump event. World record holder and Olympic champion Yolanda Balas is the winner. We congratulate you, Yolanda, on this extraordinary win and your hard work.
Yolanda Balas, pentru gloria pe care ai adus-o patriei, pentru performanța ta, pentru străduințele tale, noi te felicităm, Yolanda.
The poet Ana Blandiana was one of the first intellectuals to speak on Radio Romania during the days of the 1989 revolution.
Prieteni, am sosit la radio, acum venind din piața
Friends,
Palatului.
I have just arrived at the radio coming from the Palace Square, where I joined the thousands of people who could hardly believe this day has finally come. It is very hard to believe that after so many years of humiliation, we have managed to do this all by ourselves, due to our inner strength, which I almost believe we had lost forever, and without any political schemes or support from more influential and powerful people. The victims in Timișoara and the victims in Bucharest have restored our trust in ourselves and in the power to be ourselves.
Și puterea de a fi noi.
On January the 1st, 2007, Romania joined the European Union, the most exclusive club of the worst developed countries. On December the 20th, 2006, Radio Romania broadcast live the Romanian Parliament's solemn meeting celebrating the event. The then President Traian Băsescu delivered a speech at the meeting.
Două fraze concise, dar de o
Two concise sentences of exceptional political value will be imprinted in the history of Romania and also in the history of the European Union. The European Council hails the accession of Romania and Bulgaria as full EU member states starting January the 1st, 2007.
Next on Radio Romania International, Think Greener.
Welcome to Think Greener. I'm Eugen Nostam. Ornithologists have given the ready steady go for a fresh edition of the contest themed Bird of the Year 2020. For 1 month running, lovers of wild birds can cast their vote in favor of one of the 5 species the Romanian Ornithological Society has listed as Romania's most representative species for 2020. In 2018, the old won the inaugural edition of the aforementioned contest. For this year, the voting mechanism is simple. access the Romanian Ornithological Society's Facebook page and offer a like for the favorite species included in the album dedicated to the Bird of the Year 2020. The bird enjoying the biggest number of votes, likes, that is, until November the 30th, will be declared the species of 2020. The respective bird will be found on the Romanian Ornithological Society's membership card for 2020. Such a bird will enjoy the status of a star, from articles posted on the Romanian Ornithological Society's webpage to posts on Facebook and Instagram. The PR manager for the Romanian Ornithological Society, Ovidiu Bufnila, is now introducing the 5 species that will enter the aforementioned contest. The first entry on the list is a less pleasant surprise. We're speaking about the barn swallow, a species that has been on the wane fairly rapidly. Because of intensive farming, the number of barn swallows in Romania has begun to decrease. We ended up losing 20% of barn swallow populations. Of 5 birds, 1 goes extinct. And that because they eat insects that no longer exist because of intensive farming based on pesticides and insecticides. The second species we suggested for the contest is the white stoop. It is a species that quite often can be found on poles, on the roofs, or the house chimney. It is a species strongly linked to a great number of traditional beliefs. The third species is the largest water bird, the Dalmatian pelican. We had a project targeting the Dalmatian pelican, and we are going to have another project alongside other organizations from Romania and Ukraine. It is a species that has suffered as compared to its kin species, the great white pelican. In Romania, this species has 40,000 specimens, while the Dalmatian pelican has as many as a couple of 100 specimens, while the colonies are rather difficult to assemble. Now that was Think Greener. Next in this program, sports.
Hello, I'm Cristina Matescu with a look at the sports action at the weekend. On Friday, Romania lost to Japan 0-3 in the quarterfinals of the Women's Table Tennis World Cup. Earlier in the group stage, Romania had lost 1-3 to Taiwan and won 3-0 against Vanuatu. We continue with news from women's handball. The Romanian champions, SCM Râmnicu Vâlcea, lost to the German side SG Bietigheim in Group C of the Champions League 31-28 in an away match. In another match, Brest-Bretagne handball defeated Budućnost Podgorica 32-28. Brest now ranked first in Group C with 10 points, followed by Budućnost with 6 points, SCM Râmnicu Vâlcea with 2 points, and Bietigheim with 2 points. In other news from women's handball, the Romanian vice champions CSM Bucurest lost to the Danish side Team Esbjerg 25-21 on Sunday at home. This match was part of Group B. CSM thus saw their first defeat in the group stage, having won the first leg in Denmark by a 2-goal difference, 24-22. In the same group, Rostov-Don defeated the Polish side MKS Perla Lublin away 30-20. Rostov-Don are in the first place with 7 points, followed by CSM Bucharest with 7 points, Esbjerg with 6, and MKS Perla Lublin with no points. In the EHF Cup, also in women's handball, Măguracis Nădie lost to the Spanish side Rocasa Gran Canaria 28-24 in the first leg of the third round, while in an all-Romanian match, Corona Brașov defeated Gloria Bistrița Năsăud 27-25. The second leg is scheduled for the 17th of November. We end with football. In the 16th leg of League One, Astra Giurgiu defeated FC Voluntari 1-0. Hermannstadt Sibiu drew 1-1 against Viitorul Constanța. Academica Clinceni defeated CSMS Iași 1-0. India Târgoviște drew 1-1 against CSU Craiova. FC Botoșani lost to SCSB 0-2. CSC Sfântu Gheorghe lost to Gazmetan Mediaș 0-1, and Dinamo Bucharest drew 0-0 against CFR Cluj. CFA Cluj topped the ranking with 31 points, followed by Viitorul Constanța with 29 points and Astra Giurgiu with 28 points. And that's all in sports. You are listening to Radio Romania International.
Hello dear friends, this is Gania Vincent Cafe. On November the 1st, Romania marked 30 years since the death of one of its greatest pop singers, Mihail Arunceanu, who was murdered at the age of only 34. Now we invite you to listen to Mihail Arunceanu with a song entitled Happiness Has Your Face from the album she launched 2 days before her death. Early childhood, Mihail Arunceanu proved to be a real prodigy with a keen interest in drawing and literature. She taught herself violin at a very early age. Let's now listen to another song with Mihail Arunceanu entitled Don't Hide. He, Mihail Anunceanu, became a teacher with the Open Arts University in Bucharest. Among her students were some present-day stars of the Romanian pop music like Marina Hora, Silvia Dumitrescu, and Nicola. We go out today with another song from Mihail Anunceanu's repertoire entitled Will You Will Come.
Ce să fac însă-ți spun că fiindcă tu ai ales ce-mi din tâi, n-am știut cum să mai rămâi, cum să duc să fac.
Live in Romania. Coming up next in the program, Romanian without tears. Welcome to a new edition in our Romanian Without Tears series. I'm Eugen Nastan. It's simply great you've been with us for so many years now. We do hope you got to like Romanian language by now. Today we continue our journey into historical Bucharest, where the old city centre is packed with listed buildings, whose architectural style makes them a wonderful sight for today's visitors of Romania's capital city, whether Romanian or foreign. As usual, we begin with a set of useful words and phrases. Centrul istoric, the historical center. Zona Lipscan, the Lipscan area. A traversa, cross. De la vest la est, from west to east. Negustor, merchant. Distanță ce poate fi parcursă pe jos, within walking distance. Now, let us use some of the words and phrases above in meaningful communicative patterns. Centrul istoric al orașului București este cunoscut și sub numele de Zona Lipscan. Bucharest's historical center is also known as the Lipscan area. Lipscan este numele străzii ce traversează centrul de la vest
la est. Lipscan is the name of the street crossing the center from west to east. Numele de Lipscan derivă din cuvântul german Leipzig. The name of Lipscan is derived from the German word Leipzig. Leipzig era orașul din care veneau majoritatea negustorilor germani la București. Leipzig was the town most of the German merchants came from to Bucharest. Centrul istoric al orașului București este situat la nord de Piața Unirii. Bucharest's historical center is located north of Unirea Square. Centrul istoric este situat la o mică distanță de grădina Cismigiu, ce poate fi parcursă pe jos. The historical center is located within walking distance from the Cismigiu Gardens. That's all we had time for in today's Romanian Without Tears. Thank you all for the interest you take in Romanian culture and for being so keen on learning Romanian with us. Goodbye. La revedere. Coming up next. The Cooking Show. Welcome, I'm Eugen Nasta. In Romania, late autumn is marked by the preparation of pickles. According to Romanian tradition, between the Orthodox feast of St. Demetrius on October the 26th and the feast of St. Andrew on November the 30th, the sauerkraut is prepared. The process of cabbage souring in the barrels needs to be a slow, lengthy one, all the more so as temperature readings are low at this time of the year. They say the cabbage must be covered in a film of hoarfrost before it is pickled. For the sauerkraut, we need medium-sized, thin-leaved cabbage heads. That is 15, maybe 20 cabbage heads, roughly weighing 30 kilos, ready to fill a 60-liter wooden barrel, which may also be made of plastic. Remove the withered outer leaves, while the cabbage cores must be indented with a knife so that the brine may percolate easier into the cabbage. Apart from the cabbage, put dried dill twigs in the barrel, dried thyme twigs, horseradish roots, peeled and finely shredded lengthwise. Also, you may put a quince, 2 corn cobs, 1 red cabbage head, or 2 beetroot heads, if you want the juice to be colored. Prepare the brine, mixing salt into hot water, 1.5 tablespoons of salt for 1 liter of water. Pour the brine over the cabbage cores until the water level covers the cabbage heads at the top completely. Put a weight over the cabbage heads to press them down so that the cabbage heads are immersed in brine completely. In 2 or 3 days' time, you need to perform the so-called airing of the brine. If the barrel has a tap on the lower side, the brine from the barrel is extracted and then poured at the top all over again. If the barrel does not have a tap, the sauerkraut juice can be aired with the help of a pipe or a flexible tube, which is used to blow air into the lower part of the barrel. The sauerkraut is used for the preparation of the stuffed cabbage rolls or the sauerkraut-based dishes. We can also prepare a salad of finely chopped sauerkraut to go with the main course. The sauerkraut juice is used as a souring agent when a broth is prepared. According to Romanian tradition, at a wedding party, the famous giblets broth is served at the crack of dawn. Such a chicken-based broth is soured with sauerkraut juice. You can also use the sauerkraut, and not only the sauerkraut juice, to prepare the broth. The sauerkraut broth is one of the staple fasting dishes. It is plain or prepared in combination with other vegetables. You are listening to Radio Romania International. Next in the program, new names on the cover. Welcome to a new installment in our regular New Names on the Cover series. I'm your host, Eugen Nasta. The Blueprint of a Traditional Ignominy is a groundbreaking debunking volume, a bestseller actually. It was written by Police Commissioner Traian Barbeceanu and will be launched on November the 9th, 2019 in Bucharest. For our English-speaking listeners from around the world who, for a number of decades now, have been keen on the most recent developments in Romanian politics, or have grown fond of Romanian traditional music, I first asked Traian Berbeceanu to provide them with a brief account of the facts that prompted him to write the book. To put it briefly, in 2019, the public ministry body known as the Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Department, abbreviated as DPOF in Romanian, otherwise known as the famous anti-mafia structure, the prosecutors affiliated to this body fabricated a criminal investigation file, the result of which was the fact that I was arrested and kept in custody for 33 days, being innocent. In substance, the file was submitted for trial to the High Court of Cassation and Justice, which is Romania's highest judicial body. As soon as the case was taken to court, in substance, I was ruled innocent in June 2016, if I'm not mistaken, on the grounds that the deeds I had been convicted of were inexistent. Not that the evidence did not exist, but the crimes as such, the crimes on account of which I had been indicted, were inexistent. Subsequently, the aforementioned structure of the public ministry resorted to its right to appeal the sentence, but they did not do that within 30 days, as lawfully stipulated. They submitted their appeal almost 1 year later, which, from my point of view, was an unacceptable and is an unacceptable procrastination and a legal one at that. In the aftermath of my being ruled innocent by the formation of the court made by 3 judges affiliated to the High Court of Cassation and Justice, a series of ignominious attacks were launched against me, hosted by certain TV and radio stations. When inexistent facts were laid out against me, they were literally slanderous, with specific reference to the charges that had been pressed against me. That was what actually prompted me to write a book and to get it published subsequently. A book where I wanted to express my point of view, since I thought it was the best method for me to present the naked truth so that it may reach out to the public at large. The Blueprint of a Judicial Ignominy is a volume whose title has an extremely emotional charge. More often than not, the relationship between a book and its title has its own intricacies. In the present case, I wanted to find out from Traian Berbeceanu the reason why I resorted to such a title.
Probabil că cei care au urmărit cazul de la bun început din anul 2012, atunci când l-a...
For those who closely followed the case from the very beginning, when it all started in 2010, when my parents' residence was raided by alleged investigators who, at least as a first instance, proved to be common criminals sentenced by the High Court of Cassation and Justice. So, from October the 23rd or thereabouts, when myself and my parents' residence was raided by the so-called criminal investigators, who were accompanied by representatives of central and local media who got there to point a negative trend against me, I told all those media people, nay, I pointed my finger to the fact that what they witnessed was a most ignominious judicial scam, as that is what I thought about it back then, and subsequently, judges of Romania's highest court ruled that I was right. For our English-speaking listeners from around the world, the faithful listeners of the English service, I wanted Traian Berbeceanu to give us all a detailed account about the structure of the book. I structured my book as follows. The first part of the volume, I made a detailed presentation of the members of my team, a team made of perfect professionals I had the honor and pleasure to coordinate. They were policemen who got involved in the entire range of structures of the department I had been running, a structure which, modesty aside, 1 year after the next was at the top of the rankings rating terrorism and organized crime investigation departments countrywide. And, let me once again stress that, my department held pride of place, especially thanks to the team I had been running. In the second part of the book, I gave an account of the string of operations of the team I had coordinated. Those were key operations targeting crime rings that perpetrated violent crimes such as smuggling, human trafficking, trafficking of underage persons. They may not have been the most important operations that the squad had coordinated, yet such operations were closely connected to the abominable charges that had been pressed against me subsequently. And I'm saying that because the people I had been investigating as part of the aforementioned operations, people who had been under arrest as we were investigating them, people who had yet to complete their penalty, were in cahoots with their investigators, some of them of their own free will, while others were under threat. All those people provided perjury and slanderous information against me. They even went so far as to fabricate evidence, jointly with investigators, phony evidence against me, that is, and all that gut-wrenching body of evidence led to my being arrested and kept in custody for 33 days. Traian Berbeceanu's profession was a risky job. It was a job where himself and the members of his team put their lives at risk. His job was, if you will, a mirror of the underworld in today's Romania. At this point of our discussion, I wanted to find out from Traian Berbeceanu when he had the time to write, since being detached and proving able to distance himself from the events was something rather difficult to achieve. While I was writing the book, I tried to be as objective as I could, leaving no room for a bias or a heated attitude regarding the events, but once trying to be as faithful as possible in my account of what in fact had happened. What proved most helpful for me was the fact that I arranged all events in chronological order, using an accessible, easy-to-grasp jargon, so that a wider readership could make sense of what happened, and that's how the book was born. Speaking about readers' response, apart from a small pool of specialized readers, I asked Traian Berbeceanu whom he expected his target audience would be made of. As I told you a little bit earlier, I was keen on making the book accessible for as wide a readership as possible, and not only to the people working in the judiciary system, lawyers, magistrates, policemen and such like. I intended the book for anyone who was curious enough to see how that file had been fabricated against me, while the eventual aim of my book was that something like that may never happen to anybody else ever again. And from my point of view, it is accessible to anybody, while the fact that it was very well received by the reading public stands proof of the fact that there is tangible evidence in what I've just said about the purpose of the book. That was Police Commissioner Traian Berbeceanu, whose book, The Blueprint of a Judicial Ignominy, was brought out by the Curtea de Publishers in Bucharest. The volume will be launched on November the 9th, 2019 in Romania's capital city. I'm Eugen Nasta at Radio Romania International Studios in Bucharest. Until next time, it's goodbye.
And with that, our broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and Japan has come to an end. You can listen to our next program for Western Europe tomorrow at 6:30 hours UTC on 7345 kHz in analog system and on 6040 kHz in DRM system. Listeners in Japan can listen to our next program tomorrow at 23 hours UTC on 6090 kHz and 7325 kHz. We can also be heard on the internet at www.rri.ro, channel 1. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write an email at eagl@rri.ro. Goodbye.